Hey guys, I wanted to do something a little different for you today. This is going to be more like along the lines of some other videos I'm going to do. I recently got a chance to take senior portraits from my friend Perry, and I was really excited to do it. But I also wanted to show you guys how I go about editing photos. So these are already done. I'll show you a couple examples. We went to a beach, we went to a subdivision, we just kind of played around in the area. Really beautiful pictures here. I'm going to scroll through. I'm using Lightroom 4 to edit, so if any of you are always curious about why my pictures look the way they look, it's because I use Lightroom 4. I've never really jumped into Photoshop extremely just because I feel like a lot of times people overly Photoshop photos, and I prefer to keep mine looking, more natural, I would say. Let me scroll through here to show you guys. Which one? Okay, so here we go. We have a perfect example. It might look a little unclear on your screen. We took pictures of some flowers here. Yeah, let me stop saying no. And, the saturation is going to be different just because I'm recording it on my camera. So let's go through here. Let's take this photo right here. And let's go up to our settings. And let's go reset all settings. So this is basically going to take it back to this normal picture that you guys can see here. And then from here, what I'm going to go and do is the first thing I go into is I go down here to sharpening. Okay, so here we're at sharpening, and I usually turn it up all the way because I feel like most pictures need to be sharpened. Alright, so then our next section that we play around with is these sliders up here at the top. That they include highlights. Let me see if I can focus. Highlights, shadows, whites and blacks, clarity, vibrance, and saturation. So really what these all do is, you'll see it at the very end, I'll pan back to where my sliders are a little bit different. These all play with the lights that are in the photo. Highlights is usually this area in the background. Let me see if we'll zoom in. This area in the background here. Okay. And then one thing I also do is, and the shadows are usually for these pictures I shot with a Canon T3i, which is my camera, with a kit lens, but I also switched to a telephoto, kind of a zoom lens. It's a 55 to 250 from Canon, and it's just I think it's an EF, right? Yeah, it's an EF lens. It's not like one of those expensive lenses. So yeah. I shot with that, and I have to say I love shooting with that photo or that lens outside because you can get a lot of nice shallow depth of field with that lens, more so than you can a kit lens, which is really cool. And okay, one slider that I usually hit up right after I sharpen is one slider I hit up is, if you can really see this, I don't know if you're going to see it, it's called luminance, which is noise reduction, but it has this really cool effect. When you slide the luminance up, if you notice, her skin becomes more even, this background becomes more even, and sometimes you don't want that, but for this photo I kind of do want that. So you go into this luminance here, and I'm going to bring it up to 60. I don't want to go anything over that because then her eyes would start to blur and everything else. Now we're going to go up here, and I'm going to do this really quick for you. I'm not going to play around with saturation on this photo just because Lightroom 4's saturation slider is really overpowered. But however, the vibrance slider is, I don't know, I love it because it's just evenly does it. You can already probably tell that the photo itself has a little bit more texture and everything on here. The color's a little bit more bright. She has a really amazing hair, so I want to bring up clarity just a tad. And you can always go in with this tool up here. It's let me pan up here. This tool at the very top, it's a brush. You could always use that to kind of go in and paint back in her hair. You can use it for a lot of different things, and you'll see me using that quite a bit in this this tutorial. Hopefully my camera will be able to record all 10 minutes. That'd be great. Sorry if the video is rocky. Really trying to invest in a new tripod because I think I could use one. Alright, perfect. That's great. Okay, So you're not going to see me playing around with the sliders anymore. You're just going to see the actual work being done. And I go into contrast, and a lot of people like to take their contrast way up, and I disagree with this. I think you need to keep your contrast around 20 to 40 range, depending on your photo. Sometimes even less than that. I think contrast is one of those sliders that is way too overpowered, and a lot of people just do a lot with it. So let's go in and play with the highlights. So if I go all the way down, that's not what I want. And now if I was outside and there was clouds, I might want to take my highlights down. I'm just going to bump it up just to 14, just to bring in some light back onto her face. And the shadows is going to really help out with that too. So the shadows, you can see if I take it all the way up to 100, really bright. So let's go around 45 on those shadows. And then I'm going to go down to my luminance again and maybe bump it up just a tad. Now you don't want to do too much luminance because then it's gonna make her look really weird. So this is one of my favorite parts of my editing system, is going into the spot correction. So first of all, it's a spot tool. It looks like a circle. It's at the top right. I'll make sure that I can show that to you in a second. And then come in here and you can, already you can see a before and after just with her eyes, her nose. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back out, we're going to go full screen, and we're going to push in on her nose. So humans aren't necessarily the most perfect creatures, and sometimes we don't have perfect skin like, magazine covers. If you guys look at me, I'm like probably perfect example. Anyways, my point is everyone has bumps, even the most perfect looking people. So go in, and especially with a high def camera, you can it's actually, there's like a pros and cons to having a high def camera. You get to see every little imperfection. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay. Yeah, I'm still recording, but the recording is not where I want it to be. Let me make sure it's clear for you guys. Alright, cool. So let's go into spot correct, and we took out these couple little bumps on her face. So, really we did good with this photo. I bump up my brightness just a tad, just to even out the skin tone. Now we're going to go into a brush. Actually, we're not going to go into a brush. We're going to click on Enlarge, and we're going to go into this brush, and we're going to, with using your 2 fingers on a trackpad, I don't know if you guys can, this is what I have, okay, you guys can't see it, but you use this trackpad, and you can use your 2 fingers to enlarge or move it down. I have my feather out to 100 and my flow out to 100, density out to 100 as well. So then I enlarge it and I go over the lips really easily. Now you go into your settings and you can bring up the clarity. I like to go -50 just to smooth them out, or -30. And then I will go into the color, because you can choose a color to pick. And it's kind of like painting back in lip color. Sometimes when you take a photo outside, it can kind of wash out the lip color. So you want to pick something neutral red, because this is like summertime. And there you go. So let's go into our before and after and see the difference. Let's try to zoom in for you guys. Maybe that would help. So, I'll show you some before and after pictures as well. And there you go. I don't look at this as, hey, before is bad, after is great. I look at it as more of, what your camera shoots, because a lot of times your camera will flatten, someone's images. Like, for instance, like this is what I would normally see. Like whenever I'm outside, this is what I saw, So that's what I look at when editing. I didn't see that. I didn't see a gray picture, So this is what I like to do in editing. It's kind of like, editing is not fixing something, it's more of restoring what you would see as a human being. So that's how I look at my editing, and that's why I kind of get frustrated with people who do overly photoshopped photos, unless you're doing something creative. So thanks you guys for all the support I've been getting on YouTube. It's really incredible. I wasn't in this video, so hopefully you don't get mad at me for not showing my face in this video. I'm just chilling at home, so yeah. Alright, well thanks you guys for watching, and this is another behind the Splice Productions Perry Senior portraits, and I will now show you a photo reel of some portraits I took. Thank you so much to everyone who was involved. Peace out. How could you ever